speaker here and to have our intern, Kushi, introduce Clark. Kushi, take it away.
Well, our first guest speaker is Clark Roberts. He's the executive director and founder of Ultimate Vision. Ultimate Vision, Inspiring Others to See in New Ways, is a nonprofit organization that teaches people of all ages that life does not stop when adversity occurs. At age 24, he lost his sight to retinitis pigmentosa. He discovered that when life hits, you have to learn how to embrace the challenge, find your potential, and live life to the fullest. Clark has a natural gift of humor. He's married to his amazing wife, Carrie, and has a son who is married and a daughter that is attending college. Each of them love to mess with him regarding his sight loss. Clark is also an author and enjoys storytelling. He's an outdoor and sports enthusiast who loves to downhill ski, tandem cycle, water ski, drive rally cars, jump out of perfectly good airplanes, swim, and hike in the beautiful Pacific Northwest.
Good morning. How is everybody? Hopefully you can all see me because I don't get to see you. So this morning I would like to share a presentation which I title Transforming the T in Can't. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and the fact of how can't is a negative word. We're going to figure out how to transform that and turn it into a positive situation. I would encourage you to take some notes as we walk along this journey because there's going to be some key points to take away and hopefully apply, okay? So let's get started. To start this all off, I would ask that you all close your eyes, totally, completely. As your eyes are closed, think about all of your hopes, your dreams, your desires, all of those things that excite you, sports, music, hobbies, business. And then a doctor steps into your world and tells you that within the next 15 years, you're going to be totally blind. Nothing that you can do to change or to alter the course other than to accept it or to reject it. What will you do? You may now open your eyes. You see, I was an 18-year-old freshman attending the University of Idaho and had my life in front of me. I knew where it was going, all of my adventures, all of the people that I would be meeting, everything that was in front of me. It was all out there until February 28th of 1973 when a doctor rearranged my whole entire life. He would inform me on a very cold winter day in Pullman, Washington, that I have a disease known as retinitis pigmentosa, and I was going blind. On that afternoon, I got very mad, frustrated, angry, but most of all, I was scared. Scared because I didn't know what, where, or how I would continue living. On the short 8-mile drive from Pullman back to Moscow, Idaho, the questions that ran through my being was the fact of could I, would I, should I even have a life? Because you see, most of what I knew about blindness and blind people was that they got to just exist. Before I knew it, we were in front of my dorm. I got out. I climbed 3 flights of stairs up to my dark, empty room. Empty because my roommate, a junior pre-veterinary major, lived in the library, would not be back until midnight. I would tear off my coat and I would go sit on my dormitory floor, bawling like a baby, wondering, could I, would I, or should I continue to live? Knowing what I knew about blindness, that they only got to exist, I'm like thinking, it's time to just check out. I didn't. And the first key is this. Life is a gift. Cherish it, enjoy it, unwrap it, share it, because you never know how many times or how long you get with it. Life is a very precious gift. Unwrap it, cherish it, and share it with others. Now, after that particular day, I had to start to figure out if I was going to become a blind individual. That meant I had to try. First T, what will allow us to change the word can't. Try. For you see, can't is a negative word. Try is an adjective. Try requires action. Will you move forward? Will you do something? Will you show up? Each one of you, first of all, today showed up to Washington Business Week. There's a lot of things that you're going to be exposed to this week where you're going to have to try. Our accomplishments in life are not measured by our abilities or disabilities, but rather by our willingness to try. You see, it was really interesting as I started moving forward as a blind individual. Every time I would get an idea of something that I wanted to go out and do and try, somebody would tell me, "You can't." They would say, "Clark, if you do that, you're going to fall on your face and break your nose." One afternoon, as I was counseling with a pastor friend of mine, he's telling him, "Ellis, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do everything. And everybody keeps telling me that I can't. Says I'm going to fall on my face and break my nose." And he leaned back in his chair and he says, "Well, what's so bad if you fall? Because you never know if you're going to fall if you don't try." Interesting. If you never ever try, you don't know if you'll fall on your face. So try. I heard a great quote last night by Katie Odeki, Olympic swimmer. She says, "You don't have to be perfect. You just have to try." Wow. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to try. Great message. Another quote that I read this morning, Carl Lewis, another Olympian. It's not about the outcome. It's about the journey, which means showing up and trying. First T, try. Second T, you have to trust. Trust. Trust means to rely upon someone or something totally. Ever think about how much you trust in a day? Maybe you don't look at it as trust, but it's trust. For me, my feet hit the floor first thing in the morning. I get out of bed and I manage to make it to my bathroom without running into something. That's trust. I go about my morning activities as far as feeding my working guide dog. Oh, you probably see two dogs in the picture. The brown one, that's my working guide dog. The big yellow one, he's my retired guide dog. I trusted him for 7 years. I trust my other one for another. She's been working for me for 6 years. But you see, that's another aspect of my life. Every single moment that I leave my house, my office to go somewhere, I trust that dog. Trusting that dog to get me from point A to point B safely. This week during Washington Business Week, you're going to trust your business team, your team members, that they're going to, first of all, going to show up each and every day. And that they're going to do the things that they're going to be required so that your team can be the best that you want to be. But that means you're going to have to trust them. People that you don't even know right now, but you're going to get to know them better by the end of the week. It's like in business. You trust your colleagues. You trust your boss. You trust your customers. You trust, because if you don't get to do anything. I am an avid tandem cyclist. That means that I ride on a bicycle that has 2 people on it at the same time. First of all, I have to trust the individual who sits in the front seat. That's called the captain's seat. I have to trust him that he's going to keep us safe out on the road. Then I have to be willing to trust the bike, that it's not going to fall apart when we're out there riding, that it's all going to work properly, that the brakes are going to work, so that if we need to brake suddenly, that's all going to work. The wheels are true, they're going to work properly. Everything is trust. Maybe this morning you walked into a fast food restaurant. You trusted the individual to get for you exactly what you wanted. You trusted them that they debited your debit card exactly for what you bought. Every single moment of every single day, trust comes into play. For me, if I don't trust, I don't get to do anything. I don't get to interact with anybody. I just get to sit in my chair and watch life slip through my fingers. And one day I'm going to go, wow, where did it go? Why is it gone? So first you need to show up and try. Secondly, as you try, you need to trust. Thirdly, you need to be teachable. Teachable. All of you who are attending Washington Business Week have showed up. You're going to try, and you come with an attitude of being taught, being teachable. These last 2 years have been an interesting 2 years as we've interacted with COVID, being teachable. Most of my business, Ultimate Vision, means walking in, being in front of students, being in front of people, wherever that arena is. But when COVID hit, it all got shut down, which meant we needed to pivot, become adaptable, go online. And I'm going, online? First of all, I knew nothing about Zoom. I didn't even know how you got it open. I didn't know how you used a chat box. but I was willing to be teachable. Because if I wasn't willing to be teachable, I wasn't going to be able to interact in business. And that would mean either closing the doors or waiting and waiting and waiting until things might open back up and we could get back in front of people. But we decided to become adaptable, pivot, use Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and the different other platforms that are out there that allow you to be online and to do presentations. So we were adaptable. Will you this week be adaptable? Will you have that attitude of learning and be teachable? Another tool that I'm still learning, and I learn probably every single day or at least every other week, is my smartphone, my iPhone. I learn new things as far as how to use it alongside of my adaptive program so that I can interact with media, social media. I can continue to send emails from my phone. I can do the things that I want to do when I'm out running around and being mobile, interacting with business clients, interacting in society. But it's first of all having an attitude of being teachable as I try and I trust and I learn. But here's an interesting thing about learning. As you learn and you're being taught and you're acquiring knowledge and information, you're then able to turn around and to use your knowledge and your information to mentor those coming up behind you, to coming alongside of you, to assist them. One of the new areas that Ultimate Vision is moving into is starting a podcast, which will be called Insight, Living Through Adversity. Because you see, I have lived through it, and now I have the knowledge and the information and the stories to come alongside others, especially those who are losing their sight due to whatever issue, so that I can assist them. And we're also starting a mentoring program, life coaching, where we can coach those who are losing sight. Not only just that individual, but their family, assisting them that they can go out there and they can continue living life. Because a lot of times when a challenge happens, whether it's sight loss or whatever, you get the idea that life stops. Life stops only if you let it. Sometimes it's about figuring out how to do life in a new and different way. Zoom, Microsoft Teams, different ideas, different ways of dealing with life. How are you going to go play? How are you going to cook? How are you going to do everything that you do? But it's first of all trying. Second of all, trusting. Thirdly, being teachable so that you can then turn around and teach others. But then as you move forward It's allowing yourself to be transformed. Transformed. Having different thoughts, having different ideas, doing things in a different way, looking at people and not seeing them from the exterior, but getting to know them from the interior, seeing the heart of others, seeing those that you interact with in business, seeing those that you interact with on a personal level, seeing those that you're living with, but finding out why they are the individual that they are, so that you can allow yourself to be transformed, to have a different perspective, to have the right perspective, to being able to go out and live your life, to go out and be the individual that you want to be in business. That's why you've come to Washington Business Week, is to learn. Learning the tools, learning the ideas, learning how business functions, learning how business works. Putting together, taking an idea, forming it into a product, taking that product to a company, sitting down with investors and sharing your idea, getting them to feel that your idea is the best idea that everybody's going to need, so that they're going to give you resources so that you can then go back to your manufacturers, have this produced, and then take it to market. But it's allowing yourself, your teammates, to be transformed. Being transformed in a way that you'll work together as you try, as you trust, as you're being teachable, as you're being transformed. As you're being transformed, then you can go out and you can thrive. You can be the best individual. You can be the best business partner. You can be the best business owner. You can be the best of the best. But you have to put all of the pieces into place so that you can go out there and live in society, work in society, play in society. But it starts by having the right ideas, having the right methods, having the right products, having the right, you fill in the blank. But it's all about starting, showing up, moving forward, and living. I remember the day so vividly when, through my sister, she came to me and she said, Clark, you can still downhill ski. There's a ski instructor at Bogus Basin who will teach you how to ski with your eyes closed. Now, first of all, I have to tell you, I thought my sister was just a little whacked. But at the same moment, when I went and met Jack, and he taught me how to ski with my eyes closed, it taught me and showed me that I could still live and enjoy life. And if I could then ski, I could work and be the best that I wanted to do in whatever I wanted to do. Don't sell yourself short of whatever it is that you want to go out there and do. Go for it. Be out there. Live. Okay? There's three things, three words I'd like you all, if you're not unmuted, I want you to all unmute, and there's three little words that I want you to say. The three little words are, I will fail. You didn't expect me to say fail. But you see, all of us as we're out there living in life, living in business, doing all of that, all of us have and will fail. But when you fail, you get back up and you try and you try and you try and you try again. First you try, then you trust, then you have an attitude of being teachable. After you've been taught, you can then be transformed. And as you're being transformed, you can thrive. Our accomplishments in life are not measured by our abilities or disabilities, but rather by our willingness to try. So go out today as you start Washington Business Week and live your life in a way that will encourage others to live their life in a new way. Have a great day.
Wow.
All right, what an awesome message, Clark. Thank you so much for sharing that with our students and kicking off the camp. We do have some time for some question and answers, students. So I would encourage you to raise your hand and Kushi will call on you to ask a question, or you can type it in the chat and Kushi will read that. So with that, do we have any questions for Clark?
Company A, yeah. Nitsa?
Any questions?
First of all, thank you so much for your very inspirational speech. It was really moving. And the question I wanted to ask, what are the dogs' names? They look super cute, and I wanted to know what their names are.
What are?
What are the names of the dogs?
Oh, what are the names of the dogs? Yes, the big white dog, his name is, well, his actual name is Arbuckle, but we all call him Arby. The browner dog, her name is Aurelia, and you can always remember her name, the fact that she is a Relia, good girl.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tristan?
Thanks. That was a great speech, Clark. That was really moving. I'm glad you shared that with us. I just wanted to ask you, when beginning your business, when was like the most difficult time for you personally to try and to trust in others?
Could you repeat the question? I don't think he heard it.
Oh, it sounds like,
I'm not able to hear his question, so if you can help me out, that'd be great.
yeah, so it sounds like, Tristan, your question was, when was the most challenging time that you had, Clark, and had to try?
Most challenging time. I would probably say in the beginning of my sight loss was probably one of the most challenging times because I wasn't sure that I even wanted to. I wasn't sure that I wanted to accept the tools that were available to me. And I think the reason that I didn't want to accept the tools, primarily the white cane, is because I didn't want to be labeled as a blind person because of what my concept of blind people was. I wanted to be looked at first as a person for whatever reasons that my eyes don't work. So it was probably then because I wasn't sure that I even wanted to move forward and to deal with the tools that were available to me.
Company A, Dennis.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. I really liked the speech. And my question was, with your company, Ultimate Vision, was that your original intention to create it when even before you got diagnosed? Or did you have something else you wanted to go into when you're going into university?
Great question. When I was at the University of Idaho, I mean, yes, Ultimate Vision has come from the fact of being blind and having had opportunity about 30 years ago to start speaking, because this was not on my list of things to do. My goal and my dream when I was at the University of Idaho was that I was going to get the education that I needed so that I could then go out and own and operate my own cattle ranch somewhere. That was my goal and my dream.
Company H, Wojciech.
So first of all, I will fail. And then second, really book stuff, but one advice for your younger self.
What advice for what?
One advice for your younger self.
What advice for my younger self?
Yes.
My advice would be never giving up, always trying, always having that attitude of being teachable, because we can never ever learn everything. We can never ever learn enough that's going to then make us, I mean, even when you feel like you've accomplished everything, or that you're at a point that you feel like that you're an expert, you can always learn something. So always have that attitude of learning and always show up. That's where you can start. And when you show up, then you can try.
And Chris.
So you mentioned the quotes of two Olympians. I was just wondering who else has helped motivate you to try, trust, and be teachable?
My family, my relationship in and through God, being able to trust Him with every aspect of my life for every single day. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right,
Company
last
F.
question.
Company F, Tekla.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for a motivational speech. I loved it, and it really gave me the feelings to never give up and gave me so much motivation and chills. Could you please tell us about one specific activity or hobby that gave you the biggest amount of motivation, faith, and confidence? If you have one specific one, the special one.
Are you able, so somebody able to repeat that question for me? I'm not sure that I understood everything.
Oh, okay. I will be the one to repeat it loudly. Could you please tell us about one specific activity or hobby in your life that gave you the biggest amount of motivation, faith, and hope?
One activity.
Yes, or a hobby.
Well, I don't know that there's one. I mean, multiple activities. I love to be outdoors. Okay, that's where I love to be. So it would be my love of downhill skiing, being out in nature. I love to be out there even when it's cold and the snow's blowing in your face and all that. I also love to be on the back of my tandem bicycle, feeling the wind in my face, the sun on my back, sweat coming out of my helmet, and listening to the hum of the tires on the road, and knowing that when you've reached the end of a long ride, that you have accomplished something. But I mean, it's just being outdoors, being able to do that, and knowing that in and through both of those activities, I mean, and there's multiple ones, but those two, for example, keeps telling me that as I keep trying, as I keep showing up, that I can continue doing, being, and living my life, and living a life.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, unfortunately, we are out of time for questions since you guys need to go back into your company meeting rooms now. Let's all unmute and give a big thank you to Clark Roberts for taking the time to be here with us today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good day.
You too.
Awesome. Andrea, was there anything you wanted to add before I send them off back into their rooms?
No, thank you. Thank you to Clark, and thank you to students for that awesome engagement. We're kicking off camp right. This was a great talk, and I hope you enjoy your next company meeting. Have a great one. All right, Clark, they're just moving right now, and we'll chat just in a minute.
They're going off into
Breakout rooms, yes.
breakout rooms. I'm sorry, I couldn't even think for a moment.